Imagine, John, if dreams had a language of their own.
Would it be like Morse code with its intricate patterns?
It would somewhat make sense, wouldn't it?
Because most of the times, dreams are so hard to interpret. The scenes change constantly, people transform. It's also random.
Exactly. They're essentially a flurry of brain scribbles that shapes the realms of our subconscious. This is why I believe it is important to understand them, not just to decipher the cryptic symbols, but to dive into a deeper understanding of our own selves.
Interesting perspective, Eunchae.
Let's unearth the foundations of dream interpretation, starting with Sigmund Freud.
The founding father of psychoanalysis himself. A rather infamous figure, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, John. Freud made some major contributions to psychology. His interpretation of dreams, in particular, was groundbreaking during his era.
Yes, he believed dreams were the brain's way of fulfilling unconscious wishes, right?
Correct, John. He referred to dreams as the royal road to the unconscious. His argument was that suppressed desires, including those of a sexual nature, seek realization and thus sneak into our dreams.
Interesting. But as mind-boggling as dreams can be, don't you find Freud's emphasis on sexual instincts a little too overstated?
Yes, John. It's such a simplistic view to say every symbol in a dream has some sexual connotation. Take, for example, children who haven't reached sexual maturity. They dream too, but are their dreams laden with sexual symbols? No.
I see your point, Eunchae. So the triggers and influences in dreams might not always be about suppressed sexual desires.
Definitely, John. Freud's theories were revolutionary for his time, but contemporary psychology recognizes a broader range of influences in dreams. But let's not disregard Freud's contributions. He sparked the journey and set the founding stones for the theories of dreams.
Same dream, different interpretations. Eunchae, you've just explained Freud's stance on dreams. Now let's explore how another prominent figure in psychology, Carl Jung, interprets dreams. Much different, isn't it?
Quite different, John. Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist and a student of Freud, broke away from Freud's focus on suppressed desires. He proposed a more spiritual approach called the collective unconscious theory.
These are some pretty heavy terms, Eunchae. Could you simplify the collective unconscious theory?
Certainly, John. Jung believed that all humans share a reservoir of experiences and ideas called the collective unconscious. It's like a mental database passed down from our ancestors, and it's filled with archetypes, which are universal symbols or patterns.
That's intriguing. So if I have a dream about, say, a snake, could it be an archetype?
Yes, John. Snakes are a common archetype and can symbolize transformation as they shed their skin. They can also symbolize danger or fear. But remember, it's not all about the symbols alone. Jung emphasized the individual's emotional response to these symbols as well.
That sounds more comprehensive than what we discussed about Freud's theories earlier. Instead of focusing solely on suppressed desires, Jung took into account emotions and universal symbols.
You're exactly right, John. Jung's emphasis was on what dreams could tell us about ourselves as a collective. He saw dreams not only as personal experiences, but also expressions of universal themes. So, listeners, if you're into exploration of self, maybe Jung's theory resonates more with you. Or if you're drawn more to individual subconscious desires, Freud's approach might be more appealing. Each theory, as unique as the minds they were born from, reflects a different aspect of the human experience in our dreams. So, John, we've talked about Freud and Jung's theories on dreams, but how has the interpretation of dreams evolved over time?
A good question, Eunchae. Centuries ago, people saw dreams as divine messages and omens. Some cultures still do. But with enlightenment, the rise of science and skepticism led many to disregard dreams as mere mental gibberish.
So, was it with Freud and Jung that people started seeing dreams with a psychological perspective?
Yes and no, Eunchae. Freud and Jung definitely played a pivotal role in placing dream study within the realm of psychology, but credit is also due to cognitive scientists, psychologists, and neurologists, researching now, who trace patterns in dreams to understand human behavior and emotions.
I see. So dreams evolved from divine messages to language of our subconscious, And it all was contoured by our intellectual capacity.
Spot on, Eunchae. And our understanding of dreams is still evolving today, with new theories being proposed and established ones often disputed.
Do these new theories also hint at a clash of ideologies between different disciplines?
Well, Eunchae, it's all part of a healthy quest for knowledge. In the scientific world, it's common that disciplines collide when new ideas or interpretations incite debate. It's these continuous exchanges and criticisms that help polish rough theories into diamonds.
And now let's venture into some dream territory that most, if not all of us, can relate to. John, have you ever had one of those dreams where you were falling and just before you hit the ground you woke up?
Oh, yes. Those can be quite scary. And there are many interpretations for such dreams. Some psychologists claim it can be due to a feeling of losing control or insecurity in waking life.
Makes sense, doesn't it? Just the way falling itself is out of our control. What can you say about dreams where we are flying?
Flying dreams can be incredibly liberating. They're often linked to feelings of freedom or desire for independence. Though, depending on the context, they could also be about wanting to escape from a situation.
Interesting. I think it would be cool to dream about flying. More on a serious note, dreams about death or illness are also common. I personally dread such dreams. What do those signify?
Don't worry, Eunchae. Dreaming about death doesn't mean someone's about to die. It usually represents endings and new beginnings, or fear of the unknown. Illness dreams too. They often symbolize emotional pain or stress.
Phew, now that's a relief. John, you haven't told us about dreams of losing teeth. I've had those a couple of times.
Believe it or not, those are among the most common dreams. Theories suggest that it could relate to fears about personal appearance, revelations of personal weakness, or even the fear of aging.
Quite a variety of interpretations there. Lastly, being chased in dreams, surely that's got to be about feeling threatened, right?
Seems like a logical interpretation, right? And it mostly is about feeling threatened or avoiding confrontation. But it could also signify avoiding some issues in your real life.
So, apart from the typical dreams we all have, there seem to be other, less common dream themes that people report. One such is feeling trapped in a dream. Do you know anything about that, John?
Well, feeling trapped can symbolize feelings of restraint or confinement in waking life. It may indicate feelings of frustration or helplessness. However, it varies greatly among individuals and their personal experiences.
Absolutely, personal variations are key. In children, for instance, dreams of being trapped often indicate a feeling of insecurity or anxiety in their real-life environment. They might feel caught between their parents' expectations or trapped in a strict routine. It's quite fascinating how our minds reveal these anxieties, right?
Certainly. There's also a different kind of dream I've heard, one where people dream about water. In your experience, Eunchae, what could this mean?
Water in dreams is generally linked to emotions and the unconscious mind. Large bodies of water might represent the state of our emotions. Calm waters signify tranquility, while rough seas could hint at emotional turmoil. As for children, they often relate water to experiences like bath time or swimming, which are significant events in their routine. But like we've been saying, it's quite subject to personal interpretation.
And isn't that the truth about dreams? They're a blend of our emotional state, personal experiences, thoughts, and the uniquely individual way we interpret them. It's such a rich, boundless and personal landscape to explore. Eunchae, let me throw a curveball. Would our waking life experiences influence our dream narratives?
Absolutely, John. Our dreams often serve as a bridge between our unconscious and conscious minds, and that includes mirroring elements of our waking life. When you remember certain fragments of your dreams, have you ever noticed they somewhat correlate to the realities you've experienced during the day?
When you put it that way, yes. I suppose there has been instances when a delicate conversation I had, or even a book I read, seemed to have shaped the premise of my dream.
That's disturbingly normal. Sometimes real-life concerns or emotions play out through an unrelated story in the dream. Neat, isn't it?
So suppose I've been dreaming repetitively about being chased. It could be a reflection of my recurring stress at work.
Could be, John. While it's not an exact science, recurring dreams often indicate an unresolved issue or ongoing stress in waking life. Your brain is trying to process these experiences, sort of like a mental rehearsal.
Intriguing. It's like our brain continues to work even when we feel we're resting. Is there any way to perhaps change the narrative of these recurring dreams?
Oh, definitely, John. There's an approach known as image rehearsal therapy, where distressing dreams are rewritten into more positive narratives while awake. But that's a deep dive for another day.
Many of us might have heard someone say that dreams can predict the future. It's an age-old belief, isn't it, Eunchae?
Absolutely, John. It's a widely held belief. Some believe it's a bit of a supernatural phenomenon, others attribute it to the mysterious nature of dreams. However, let's see what psychology has to say about this.
Does psychology support the idea that dreams can foreshadow future events?
While the idea of dreams predicting future events is enticing, psychology hasn't definitively proven that dreams can predict the precise details of an upcoming event. However, it does suggest that our dreams might give the mind an opportunity to practice response to certain scenarios. In this way, it might seem like a dream foretold an event, when in actuality, you were mentally rehearsing for it.
I see. So the anticipation or anxiety about an expected event could manifest in our dreams?
Exactly, John. It's not a prediction, but more like a rehearsal. You play out possible scenarios or outcomes in your dreams, which could perhaps be seen as dreaming of the future but not in supernatural sense.
Does this also apply to those vivid, unusual dreams that seem to have an uncanny resemblance with reality?
You have a point, John. These coming true dreams are more related to a phenomenon known as déjà rêvé. It's when an individual feels as though the events occurring in their waking life have previously been experienced in a dream.
Déjà rêvé. That's fascinating. It's like your dream reality and waking reality are intermingling.
Exactly, John. It's intriguing, isn't it? But to our listeners, remember, while dreams might not predict the future in exact terms, they can certainly unveil realities about our minds, emotions, and personal experiences. Recognizing that dreams are not just random mental events, let's ponder over their significance. How do dreams contribute to our lives, psychologically?
Well, from what I've read, dreams play quite a substantial role in our emotional well-being. It's suggested that they contribute to emotional regulation.
Right. Dreams are believed to be an arena where we can confront our fears, inhibitions, or suppressed emotions, thereby promoting emotional health. By portraying complex emotions through symbols, dreams may help us understand and process our feelings better.
So if I had a stressful day at work or, say, a personal conflict,
your dream could mirror that stress or conflict in some form, allowing you to work through it in a safe environment. This aids in emotional regulation, but that's not the end of it. Researchers also propose one fascinating function of dreams called memory consolidation.
Memory consolidation? Like making our memories stronger?
Exactly, John. During the REM phase of sleep, where more vivid dreams occur, our brain is thought to integrate new experiences into our existing memory network. This makes recalling and learning from experiences more efficient.
That would explain why sometimes I remember something better after a good night's sleep.
Absolutely. This could especially be significant for studying and problem solving. Moreover, dreams are considered a platform where our brains can explore various solutions to problems affecting us.
So basically, if I'm grappling with a problem, my brain might be trying to solve it while I'm dreaming.
It could be, John. People have reported waking up from dreams with fresh perspectives on problems or even breakthrough ideas. Dreams, being an uninhibited imaginative domain, potentially foster creativity and enable novel insights.
Wow, that elevates the importance of dreams, doesn't it?
It certainly does, John. All of these functions suggest that dreaming is not just a nighttime show, but an indispensable player in our mental and emotional well-being.
So while we appreciate this inherent creativity of dreams, there's another aspect that's gaining traction. Eunchae, isn't it true that some psychologists believe that dreams could be training grounds for threatening situations?
Yes, that's called the threat simulation theory. Essentially, it proposes that dreaming provides an environment where we can rehearse potential danger scenarios. This could potentially aid our real-life survival skills, since we've already practiced handling certain threats in our dreams.
That's quite fascinating. So in essence, dreaming is just our brain's unique way of prepping for potential dangers.
That's one way to look at it, John, but it's essential to remember that not all dreams contain threats. There's still debate among psychologists regarding this theory.
Speaking of threats, nightmares seem to be the scariest side of dreams. I've heard stories from friends where nightmares have really shook them up. What's the deal with these nightmares, Eunchae?
Nightmares are indeed a controversial topic in dream studies. Typically, they are vividly scary dreams that result in feelings of fear, terror, distress, or even physical reactions like a rapid heartbeat. A common theory proposes that nightmares could be a reflection of our mental health or our subconscious working through troubling experiences or emotions.
So they could serve the same purpose as regular dreams, like emotional regulation and memory consolidation, but in a more intense way.
Potentially, yes, John. Despite their unsettling nature, nightmares could be serving important functions. However, frequent, recurrent nightmares might signal underlying mental health issues, and it's crucial to seek professional help in those cases. It's a rich field, still being studied extensively.
So we've learned that our dreams can have multiple interpretations and serve various functions. Now, let's tackle an equally important question. When do we dream the most? Did you know, Eunchae, that our dream experiences can be quite different depending upon the sleep stage we're in?
I've heard something about REM and non-REM phases affecting our dreams, but I'm not entirely sure. Can you walk us through it, John?
Certainly. Our sleep cycles between two main phases, rapid eye movement, REM, and non-rapid eye movement, non-REM. Non-REM sleep occupies the majority of our sleep time and consists of 3 stages: light sleep, deep sleep, and the deepest sleep. As we drift from wakefulness into sleep, we enter light sleep first, then move into deep sleep, and finally to the deepest sleep. It's during this continuous cycle that we experience different types of dreams.
I see, so if one is dreaming during the earlier stages of sleep, their dreams might be different from those they have later in their sleep.
Well, during non-REM sleep, our dreams are often fragmented and less vivid. They lack a story-like progression. But when we enter REM sleep, our dreams become more vivid and intense, as it's the phase where the brain is almost as active as when we are awake. Scientists believe that this increased activity results in more extensive narrative dreams.
So that means we dream more in the REM phase?
Absolutely. In fact, the first REM period usually occurs about an hour to 90 minutes after falling asleep, and then it happens again after about every 90 minutes. Each time the duration of REM sleep increases, which means there's more time to dream.
So if dreams can serve as an emotional regulator or problem solver, as we mentioned earlier, the intensity and frequency of dreams in REM sleep might play a crucial role in providing these benefits?
That's a valid point, Eunchae. Along these lines, researchers suggest that REM sleep might even play a part in the development of our brain, learning and memory consolidation due to its rich dream content. But remember, the exact reasons and mechanisms are yet to be fully understood. This subject is truly a vast expanse of possibilities.
John, I have a curious question. Have you ever heard of people saying that they dream in colour?
Strangely enough, Eunchae, I've heard folks mention dreaming in black and white but never in colour. Why do you ask?
There's a fascinating fun fact that many of us dream in colour, but it wasn't always thought to be this way.
Really? Is it linked to some kind of shift in societal dynamics or advancements in technology?
You've hit it right on the nose, John. Some theorists suggest the switch from black and white television to colour TV influenced how people dream. A study showed that people over 55, who had access to only black and white media, dreamt more in grayscale compared to the younger generation.
That's a fascinating correlation between the external environment and internal experiences. I wonder how many of us are aware of these little nuances. Anything else on this?
Interestingly, there's also a hypothesis that our dreams could be affected by our dinner menu. Certain foods like cheese and spicy items could potentially influence our dream narratives, intensifying them in some cases.
Imagine having a dream influenced by last night's pizza. Now there's a fun concept to chew on. Has anything else sparked your interest recently, Eunchae?
Actually, yes. Did you know about the phenomenon of dream characters? Research showed that despite thousands of faces we encounter, our brain conjures up faces we have seen before in our dreams, sometimes even in the most casual of encounters.
Talk about a subconscious throwback. That rounds up really well with the classic dream scenario, where you end up wondering, why was that person in my dream? I barely knew them.
John, dream journals could offer us some impressive insights into our subconscious minds. Don't you think it would be enlightening if our listeners had a go at it too?
Recording dreams, right? Useful, but might be a challenge for many as dream memories fade quickly after we wake up.
Absolutely, retaining dream memories is tricky. That's where dream journals can help. The key is to jot down any recollections as soon as you awake. Snippets, images, even feelings, they all count. You don't have to capture the entire narrative at once.
But what if someone doesn't remember their dreams at all?
Well, they might want to improve their dream recall first. Simple tricks could work. Like setting an intention before sleep, affirming that you'll remember your dreams, or waking up without an alarm, as it tends to disrupt the dream phase of sleep.
So it's not just about writing, but adjusting sleep habits too. Interesting. What about this concept I've heard, lucid dreaming? Isn't it somewhat managing your dreams?
Great question, John. Lucid dreaming is being aware you're dreaming while in a dream, and typically you can control the narrative in such cases. Dream journals go a long way in achieving lucidity. It might take some practice, but isn't it fascinating to think you could shape your dream narratives?
Shaping dreams while we sleep, huh? Now that's a bedtime story I can get behind. Building on our dream discussion, have you ever delved into sleep disorders, Eunchae?
Some, in a general sense. They definitely can influence our dream quality.
Of course, it's not all serene slumbers and smiley sunrises. There's a ripple effect.
Absolutely. Disorders like sleepwalking, sleep talking, and night terrors can stem from stress, anxiety, or even fever, and they undoubtedly affect dream experiences. For instance, sleepwalkers may not remember their nocturnal adventures. Still, they can dream during these episodes.
That's scary to think about. Is it the same for sleep talking?
Yes, in a way. The possibility of uttering secret revelations to a room full of slumbering acquaintances is a common fear, isn't it? But, while sleep talkers can certainly vocalize during dreams, it's generally misunderstood gibberish with no link to the dream narrative or the conscious mind.
So my rambling in sleep doesn't reveal my deepest secrets. That's a relief.
Unless you're dreaming about them, John.
And what about night terrors, Eunchae? I've heard they can be quite a frightful experience.
You're right, John. Night terrors tend to be more intense than nightmares. They happen during deep non-REM sleep and can cause sufferers to wake up screaming or even running around in panic. However, people usually don't recall the exact details of the terror. It's these kind of sleep disruptions that can manipulate the quality of our dreams and our overall sleep health.
I've learned so much tonight, Eunchae. Thanks. It's important to be aware of how many factors can actually affect our sleep and, in turn, our dream landscapes. Though people enjoy dreaming, no one wants these dream disruptors. Now for some thought-provoking queries we've collected from our listeners.
This is always an exciting part of our show. All right, our first question is from Jake in Seoul. He's asking, why do I always dream about losing my teeth?
Great question, Jake. Losing teeth is a common dream scenario that's believed to signify feelings of powerlessness and loss of control. John, have you ever experienced something similar? Honestly, no, but it's intriguing to think how our emotions can materialize in such pretty bizarre ways in our dreams. Our next question comes from Minji, stating, I frequently dream about flying, and it's exhilarating. Does it mean anything specific?
Flying dreams can be quite thrilling, and they often represent feelings of freedom, ambition, or even escape. It appears, Minji, you are relishing the skies of your dreams, and it might reflect your inner desire for personal growth or liberation. Now, John, do we have any other curious listeners wanting to decipher their dreams?
Yes, we have Kathy, who messaged us saying, I often dream about my childhood home. What could this mean?
Dreams about our past, especially our childhood home, could indicate a longing for simpler times or highlight unresolved issues from our past. It seems our subconscious sometimes pulls up those nostalgic threads. But remember, Kathy, it's about finding what resonates most with you. Isn't that fascinating, John?
Absolutely. These dream interpretations are so eye-opening. And let's not forget, everyone's dream language is deeply personal. So, ultimately, you're your own best dream interpreter.